This is Arts Alive. I'm Lynda Philippi. My guest is Glori Redfern Sayler, and she's here to talk about her artwork. And if we're lucky, there might be a surprise guest appearance at the very end. So stay tuned. Hi, Glori.
Hi.
I love your stuff. I have to start out by saying that when you walked in, I went, "Oh, I love her stuff."
Well, thank you.
Obviously, a very creative jewelry artist, but not just jewelry.
No, not just jewelry.
Okay.
I find objects and make something out of them. Primarily it's metal. I go to the recycling yards, stuff found off the streets. Pretty much everything but gold.
I love the piece that you're wearing with that. Is that jade?
Yep.
That's really pretty.
This was the second piece I ever made as
Wow.
far as jewelry goes. And it was a broken bracelet and a little earring that had fallen apart.
Oh, how
and
fun.
these were curtains.
Okay.
And
And the rest is art.
just put it together, and somebody fell in love with it and said, "You should do this for a living," and that was what started it, and that's been 9 years now.
Are you a self-taught artist?
I am.
Oh, wow. That's great. So,
My father taught me how to solder
Mm-hmm.
and how to weld, because he would take me out in the garage and we would work on cars, and I would pound out fenders. So I had that experience.
you did say that you're like number 5 daughter, right?
Number 4, yeah.
Okay.
All girls, but he wanted a boy.
Yeah.
So I ended up being the tomboy.
Okay,
and
good.
We would work on the cars together.
Mm-hmm.
So I had that experience, but I never thought about making jewelry or anything. And
Dad probably didn't either.
no, but my mom absolutely was a jewelry fanatic.
Okay.
So it was very, it kind of came easy because I always fell in love with her jewelry. I got into a car accident and somebody gave me a book. And it was a metalsmithing book from 1946, and that's how I kind of got rid of all that tension from getting into a car accident.
Oh, my goodness.
And 9 years now, going to the library, getting as many books. They know me by name in so many libraries in the state.
Wow.
And just studied. And now, I don't know, I'm still learning. I'm teaching myself repose right now.
And tell me, what is repose?
Repose is where you go and take either a pitch or a compound, and you do a pushing out.
Oh, I see.
So you would have this laying flat, and you would put your design on, and then you would turn it over, and you would fill this up, and you'd go back and forth. So you'd have a release, a back and forth.
Okay.
So repose means to push metal back and forth.
Okay.
And I'm teaching myself to do that. Also, still experimenting with different forms of coloring metal. Doing a lot of different patinas.
I know you brought some slides in of your work, so maybe we'll go ahead and run the slides, and you'll see them. People can see the work that you have, maybe better than trying to focus up close with a camera. So we'll see. There we go.
This was a heat patina little cuff that I made, and it's a hammered cuff, and it ended up kind of looking like leather by the time I was done.
Yeah,
it
very
had a really
interesting.
great patina on it. And it's sitting on top of my favorite anvil. And
Ooh.
this is a dish, throw your keys in kind of thing. I do a lot of those kind of dishes. And that patina is salt and ammonia and wax. And then I've polished the inside so that's called raising.
And you know what? That's a really beautiful photograph too.
Oh, thank you.
They're really nice. I mean, it looks so arty, doesn't it?
I'm also a photographer,
Oh,
so
there we go. Okay.
kind of makes it easy.
Yeah.
But that's called raising.
Okay.
And that takes a lot of hammering. And that was a flat piece of metal. And probably took, I have no idea how many hammer blows, but it took 2 days just to raise that, and took 6 days to do the patina.
Wow.
Until I was satisfied with it.
Okay. So this is a time-consuming process. Ooh, that's pretty.
This was I like my happy accidents. This was a happy accident patina, and you can't really see the white in there, but somehow I love ammonia and salt and the things that just, the verdigris that comes off of that. But I ended up getting white.
Oh.
And that's been kind of now my obsession, trying to get a verdigris that's white and not green or blue.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah. Patinas have their own minds. It's not I guess it is a concise on the measurements and everything, but after you get it all, the measurements and get all of the elements together, it kind of takes over.
Kind of a happy accident, like you said.
Always.
Yeah.
Let's see. That's another cuff on the rougher one. And again, it looks like it's a piece of leather, and it's actually brass. And I'm wearing the one that has the captive bead in it. And this is a happy accident. It's etched. It has a captive bead. It ended up being a mistake, and I just kept on working on it and working on it and working on it until I made it right.
What's a captive bead mean?
Captive bead means that instead of it being bezeled, I've gone and formed a setting for it and captive bead. It's captured in there. It's not going to fall out.
I see.
When it's a funny story. I etched it, and the way that you etch is that you float the metal on top of the acid, and the string broke. So there's a line of demarcation on there, and it didn't etch all the way through. So I said, okay, well, I'll bezel out a stone and put it on there, and I had no solder, so I couldn't do that. And then the prong setting wasn't working, so it ended up being a captive bead.
But it's really pretty.
Thank you.
So really, I mean, we can say that your creations are all one of a kind.
They are.
No two alike.
No, not even the earrings. It's even if there is no patina, it still has a heat patina on it, and I can't duplicate that. The circles aren't perfect. The squares aren't perfect. It's all real. I hate to use the word organic, but it is. I'll start off with a design that I've drawn, and it just kind of takes over. That is acid etched and patinaed earrings, and they went for an auction for a good cause.
Really beautiful, and I love the red in that one, and sort of that purpley blue in the other. I mean, that's just what you're talking about. You don't quite know how the chemicals are going to react, but
it's like mad scientists.
Yeah, exactly.
It's mad scientists and Merry Christmas all
Now,
rolled into one.
Do you wear heavy gloves, or what do you wear when you're working with this stuff?
Sometimes. I probably should.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah.
I when I'm soldering, not so much, but when I'm doing like welding, of course, I'm wearing my welding gear. If I'm doing some heavy duty annealing, because you have to anneal metal, which means that you heat the metal in order to break down the molecular structure of it to make it malleable, to make it bendable. When you're raising, if you're doing a metal on metal, it hardens it, and you have to go back in continuously to make it soft. So when you're going and I kind of lost my train there. When you're doing something like that, you should wear gloves, and so I wear gloves.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Ooh, look at that.
Those are. I love what I look around in nature. The pucks that you see from the bugs eating on the wood, the sea urchins. So again, a lot of my pieces end up being something that we see every day.
Do you ever use, well, you obviously must use some wood in some of your designs, yeah.
I don't have any of those pieces with me, but I have, I think it's called wormwood, and the bugs have eaten it. And so I have that set in a captive setting.
Wow.
And that kind of.
Do people ever come to you and say, I just need something really outrageous, and you say, okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
I have I don't know, I have an open book, so people can come to me and they can look through the books that I have. But I also have people that come to me and I say, well, why don't you draw this out? You come to me, you tell me what you want. Because I think that makes me stronger, and that also makes me have a stronger way of teaching to the people.
Oh, yeah. So we were going to talk about that, the fact that you do classes.
I do.
So let's talk about that.
Well, I have a business. We opened almost a year ago in December. It's called GRS, Artisans Boutique and Metalwork Studio. It's over near Hopscotch.
Okay.
In there, I'm able to sell other people's work, which kind of gives a lot of new people the opportunity to get into retail and, help them get their work out.
So you're on Baker Street.
I am on Baker Street.
Okay.
It's 205 Southeast A building,
Okay.
Baker Street. And in there, I can teach classes because it's a concrete building. And I work with fire, so, they kind of like, yeah. So I am teaching beginning metalsmithing. And then I'm teaching individual things like how to do etching work or how to raise, bowls or vessels or, some people want work to go on their walls. So once they get past the basics, then I'm able to teach them the specifics to what I've learned. I have a friend of mine that's teaching the repose classes in there. So I also open the studio to other artists that want to teach what they've learned. And that way it also gives them an opportunity to let other people know that they're out there doing metalwork and art and jewelry.
So people can contact you about classes and what you've got going on. And I know that you've got a show coming up too. And it's going to be this Friday when this show is actually running. So the 7th of November.
7th of November.
Let's talk about that.
It's the first Friday up in Newburgh, and it is at the Yoga Center near the post office.
Okay.
And I think there's going to be 3 or 4 of us, but I'll have both my photography and my jewelry down there.
Wow.
And a special new piece that I've been working on, a wall piece, and it's kind of interesting.
Kind of fun. Okay.
Yeah, if I can show you.
Of course, please do.
It's kind of taken a life.
Oh
all
my
of its
goodness.
own.
Okay. Wow, that's incredible. Is it a sunflower
I don't know what it is.
or the sun?
It's more than likely going to be a sun piece.
Okay.
It's going on a painted backdrop, and
Interesting.
so, yep, I got to get to work.
Well, I think it might be time for us to bring in our special guest. Should it? Yes, the special guest now needs to appear to make his special appearance.
And my husband is very special, but this is the special guy.
Yes, okay. Special husband, take a bow. And this is the special guest, Buddy the Rabbit,
This is Buddy.
the bunny.
And a lot of people here in McMinnville know Buddy from the public market.
Okay.
And he's at the shop with me when I'm down there. Mondays and Tuesdays is when I teach classes, so he's not there then. But Wednesday through Sunday, he's at the shop with me, and he loves to have visitors.
I think that's great.
Yeah, he's pretty popular. And he
I can
keeps me
imagine.
company.
Yeah. And didn't you say you've got 13 rabbits at home presently?
Yes, we rescue them. We're not a profit or anything. We just do it out of our hearts. And we found some abandoned ones, and we picked up one, and she was pregnant, and we have 13 babies that are
I love
actually
it.
3 months today.
Wow.
And they eat a lot.
Yeah, I
And,
can imagine.
but they're amazing.
Well, Glory, thank you so much for being with
Thank
us
you.
today. And this is wonderful to meet you and your husband and Buddy the Bunny. So
Thank you.
much success, and we'll talk to you soon.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.